All right, here we go again. Buckle up. I purchased a headboard from Home Depot. It's kind of strange getting through all the bullshit to get to the actual purchase. There's no doubt that there's an operation, psychological operation within Butler County to manipulate me, to make me feel comfortable about certain people that are probably part of the operation. Again, remember, they have the people that attack you, and the people that attack you while acting like they're your butt. Oh, we're going to witness where we got a lot to talk about. Fraud at Home Depot, not against me, against others, but again, they're operating me so I can read their networks of what they're doing. There's a reason that they're attacking me. And usually there's criminal activity. I've already brought up that Home Depot was most likely a narcotics smuggler at whatever level. I mean, it could just be the employer level, but probably someone in management might be part of it. Narcotics distributor, there's no doubt. Smuggler, most likely, like outside the country. They're part of transnational. But so I purchased this headboard. It comes relatively quick, great delivery, very quick. But it's after Christmas, so things are pretty much overflowing with delivery people. Now you gotta understand, I don't know if Home Depot is involved in what's going on with the company that I bought it from. And they'll take it back. The Home Depot is going to, that part, that's not what I'm talking about. Right. But again, there's the inside of what's happening while I'm buying it, and that can affect my interaction with Home Depot, which I am almost positive you have corrupt and criminal people working out of your Home Depot being promised money possibly already paid. And in some cases, it could be your security person, especially if they're former law enforcement. That's how they take over the stores, using former law enforcement that were deep state in the government. But again, what are they actually doing? Narcotics distribution, sex trafficking, and covering that stuff. And again, they're there to set me up with a romance scam. But again, I'm not interacting with their employees any longer because I realized that they were scammers and fraudsters. And even if they're a good person, the scammers and fraudsters are going to threaten them with loss of job if they don't do what they want. But the big one that came through this morning, because they kept pushing that energy, so I just, God and I kept reading it. You have people working for Home Depot that have cronies that are involved in the frauds. But you can't get to it because they're being covered by almost an entire store's worth of personnel. I can't tell you where the stores are. Could be Butler, I don't know. So even your security person's in on it. But yet, what are they doing? The same scam. That person over there looks like a fraudster. That person over there. But why are they doing that? They're working for the narcos, the sex traffickers, and the fraudsters. You're losing money because your employees are part of the fraud and part of the thefts. If you want to play games, we're going to play games. I just try to live a quiet life. As soon as you come up in the mind as being a dirty devil, then dirty devils get taken out. Again, that's not a physical thing. Oh, we're in danger because he's telling them about our crimes. Actually, they say we're in danger because he's imagining these things. But again, do you think that the information that you're restricting from getting out to the public never got out and isn't getting out? Do you think in the 20 years that I started saying something isn't right around here, that none of that information ever went anywhere and you've contained it? Like I told you, people are deported. People are in prison. And worse. Has nothing to do with me doing anything physically. Except, I had to play it to a certain degree to figure it out. Right. Now, I'm the deputy U.S. Marshal in Baltimore that worked with your biggest agents and came highly recommended. What do you think happened? Guys are just FBI, DEA, FBI, Customs. So again, all those people telling you the bullshit, they're bullshit. They don't work. They suck off the tit of the government. They are corrupt U.S. aid payments from wherever they are in government. And I'm sure they're in contact with Home Depot and Home Depot employees. You want to play there's like I told you, and you say, well, we're Democrats. Oh no, we're Republicans. Well, which one are you? Which one are you today? Right. Now, there's nothing wrong switching parties. I've done that to try to get the other party out because they were corrupt. Right. But then they take over the next party. No, it isn't fruitless. Definitely not fruitless. Definitely not a waste of time. Like I said, people are departed, people are in prison. So it's not fruitless. So what happens is I contact the company. There's a part that's bad with this. So I'm like, it's telling me in the head, oh, they're going to send you a whole nother one. I'm like, nah, I don't think so. This is kind of a little different type of, like, you can, if you get real cheap furniture, they just send you another one. And again, with the tariffs, I don't even know if they're going to do that anymore. But cheap furniture, but this is like a little better quality. So I'm like, nah, they probably won't. They probably have, because they had, and they did. They had a parts department. Oh, it's just our projections. I'm not imagining things. Could be even the company. Well, what the companies do, I explained it before, is they try to extend the process as long as they can, because statistics will tell you the longer they extend the process, the more likely somebody's going to drop off and not continue the process. But here's the scam on this one. They give you a phone number, called, somebody answered right away. Good sign. Because now remember, I'm trying to think, do I want to keep this or not? Right. So she's like, oh, so I'm going to get back to you real quick. Okay. I get an email. Hey, what do you need, buddy? So the thing's trying to tell me he's going to send me a whole new one. I'm like, I doubt that. It's a parts, or not a technician or something. I forget what he was called. So he works through it, and I give him all his because it's warped. I got a warped piece, and because it's it's still cheap furniture, but it's not the cheapest furniture. But because it's whatever that cost us called MDF or fiberboard, whatever, it can't straighten out the warp. So when you screw it, it starts spinning because it's not going to tighten. It's not going to pull it down tight. So again, I said I probably need. When I spoke to him, I said I probably need these two parts. So we go through photo. Okay, he sends me. Okay, looks good. We'll get you the part. I'll forward this to parts, and just don't use too much. Don't use a drill or this or that. And, I know it was the part. And I figured if he sends me another part and it fails, I'm just not going to say anything. That's just the luck of the draw. But I felt that this particular one was probably warped more than it should be, so that it would. Because I've shown him. I said, see how the center sits flat, right, and then the sides they don't sit flat, so it's warped. It's bowed towards the center. So I wait about a day and a half, and I emailed him. I said, how long does it take for the parts department? Because, remember, bam, 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 bam. We're taking care of your problem. Don't need to involve Home Depot. Right. So about a day and a half, he says, well, I have no idea. Bad sign. He can't tell me when the parts department's going to contact me. Not even talking about when I'm going to get the part. Right. But again, there's things going on inside. I'm a seer. Somebody in your store fucked me. That's how this is happening. I got other stuff I got to return. Right. Too many things returned means somebody in the store is fucking you. Right? Because then they go, well, this guy's got a lot of returns. He's probably a fraudster. Right. So some dirty cop or dirty agent already talked to the store. They're playing their game, their scam. It's not a game, actually. It's a fraud. It's false statements, fraud, stalking. Because now the person in the store security is outside of store security. He or she is stalking me. I'm not paranoid. You say your family will go to fucking hell on this planet. Whoa. If you don't like the word fucking, then don't fuck me. We all know what that means. I didn't. I was asleep most of my life while you were fucking me and fucking my family around me. The planet's got, what do they call it in the church? The come to Jesus meeting. The planet has got one big come to Jesus meeting. You want to play religious? Then we'll have a come to Jesus meeting. Now, a funny part is, well, I'll get to that next. I'll see it. He says, oh, I don't know, but here's their email. Contact them. I contact them. Nothing. Dead silence. Meanwhile, I'm working the thing forward. Man, maybe I'll get a new bed frame and plug it into. Nah. Getting ready to buy a second one too, as a footboard. If they had made good, I'd have bought a footboard. Now I'm not waiting because you have time now to call them and say, "Hey, send them the part, send them the part." Because you know what they did to me before? Back and forth, back and forth. It's part of the psychology of the sex cult. Rainier. Right. While you try to get, I tried to get a refund. It's back and forth, back and forth. No, PayPal is corrupt. Part of the deep state and deep banking. But deep banking is only part of it. Right. So if you have an issue in the bank, they'll F you. I know the banks are part of it. That Spanish woman that worked at the BMO up in, what was that town called? Just north of where I was in Lenexa. She was trying to flay me. It's not bait. So again, it's now to the point that AI, and they're probably going to pull it out of AI, but I proved to you that AI said everything I said, and I didn't tell AI to say all that. I just asked it a simple question. It's just that my peers, the bank is the peers of Kansas. Then you're all corrupt pieces of shit, and you'll go down. Whoa. So they were part in that scam where I got to keep calling them, writing them. And the whole time, people are going to be running around me on the street. Curse you and curse your families. Ya, sealed. Ya, arar. So again, the government has to make sure that these people are done for. You want to play me? Go ahead and play me. But you'll never get out of your economic mess if you play me. And the Democrats aren't going to go up either. The date appointed, a time appointed comes frequently and more frequently today than it's ever been. Finish disassembling this thing. Want to get it? Yeah, it's don't worry, you'll get it after the storm. Nah, it's going back before the storm. Right? Because that Home Depot's great about it, but There's something going on. So your store could be any store that has fraud in it's going to attack me because they're part of the fraud, criminal element. Right. Yeah. So if they attack me, that's a sign that you might have fraud at your store, but you might just have corrupt security working for dirty cops, right? Which is kind of difficult for Home Depot to manage without FBI investigating it. Right. Right. But that part did come up that there is fraud somewhere in the store, or in your many stores, I guess, and it's actually the people that work there. But the way they're playing me, and they were going to play me, where no, that's what they're doing to the management of Home Depot. And the problem is that if you're working for Home Depot security and you're not part of it, they'll attack you, which means the people I speak about might be missing exploited children. All of a sudden, you're the pedophile. So you have to stop investigating fraud in your store, or you're the pedophile. You see, this is where it really is. It's been the whole time. Got to stop investigating criminal immigrants in Northern Virginia and Southern Maryland. And it was just a basic assessment. It wasn't even to the investigations level. I was just collecting data. But see, that's why Clinton and all those people were because they knew somebody that was raped, somebody that was murdered, somebody that was ran over by a drunk immigrant. And the majority of them were unlawfully present. I think that like people like Schumer, yeah, there's a plan to replacement theory and all that. And I told you it's more about them being corrupt than it is them being voters. But I believe they were blackmailed, extorted into it. Right. So it's not this idea where it's solely the replacement theory. If they don't do it, they're afraid they're going to be in trouble for some crime they committed, possibly taking bribes from them. So again, that just came up the next part. I didn't have that when I got online. It just revealed itself that they're extorting security people and maybe management into the deep state type of thing. Again, it's more than a deep state now. It's foreign. Again, it's the global intelligence state. Again, but it's a criminal intelligence state. Right. No, it's a criminal takeover of the United States. Like I said, a spy organization in the EU pay out all sorts of money. They don't care because they're going to get it back more. Once they take over, they're going to receive more of it personally. Right. So they take their government spy money and sometimes investigative money, and they spend it on corruption, causing corruption in a foreign nation and a takeover. Right. Yeah, the U.S. aid funds. There's a lot to those stories. Not all of them. Some of that was CIA payment. I don't know why they made it look cockamamie like that, but maybe throw the Russians off. I don't know, but some of that was honest, honest corruption. Right. Well, again, there's two levels of corruption. One is, a CIA payment for a CIA job, and then there is a CIA payment for just corruption. Right. But then the CIA payment for an honest job could be corruption also. Right. Thank you, Larry. No, but it shouldn't happen. I know that there's somebody stalking me. Right. And again, I don't always talk about it. It's happened a lot more than I say. And no, I'm not paranoid. See, that's the scam. And it really doesn't work a lot today because as soon as I talk to somebody, they go, oh, yeah. Like, of course that's happening. Right. So again, you're not fooling the majority of Americans, and they just don't even know where to go. But like I told you, you're getting ripped out of cars, and it isn't the people you want to, you're not necessarily the ones that are at fault, but that mechanism, that radicalization is moving. So eventually, they'll be ripping Schumer out of a car. Right. See? Thank you, Larry. No, more is something's going to speak for me, but I'll speak. Right. I speak on both parties and how you have to come together and de-radicalize. Right. Because of that mechanism. They're playing all of you. They call it politics, but it's a spycraft takeover of the United States, and many have already been extorted. Right. I can't tell you who that guy was yesterday one bit, but they definitely are picking up. And they go, well, your paranoia's picking up, buddy. We're here to help you out of everything you could ever make and have. Right. Right. The replacement theory is also the replacement wealth theory. They're replacing who would get the money. Again, I was one of those people. Right. So I don't know if that guy's name was Sam. The guy that Tucker Carlson was interviewing, I don't know what that is. I don't know if Tucker Carlson's part of it. Because the easiest way to threaten people is for Tucker Carlson to go, I believe they killed him. I believe they killed him. They can pay Tucker Carlson $1 million just to scare people. So they won't, won't talk about it. Right. And again, the whole thing is this. I didn't even need a wealthy life. If you just let me have a life, I wouldn't care if you stole my stuff because I consider it contributing to society. But when you're devils like you are, nah, that doesn't fly. Well, because they make money doing this. Don't you understand what's happening? Like people like, let's talk about Elon. Let's say Elon's doing it. He's our favorite guy. He's being cucked by these operators. See? Because they're bullshitting him. Because all you had to do is just let me live my life. They'll say, well, you won't shut up. And then they go, well, okay, we took our people off and he's still speaking. Well, speaking about what? I'm not going to be a cuck. Right? And I think that's their problem, is they're psychologically, they need cucks. Right? And that's what this would lead to. If it went back and forth like that, their will upon my life would be more demonically powerful. Nothing to do with more, except I'm explaining it to you. Which means they're doing something with the C so that my name comes up around weird C. Right. So that's why the gifts, they don't always work. No, it's just will and stuff. Curse and stuff. So I don't will and curse things for personal gain. I don't do that. Right. Yeah, it's just going after whoever came at me. And if you're not doing it, then you're not affected by it. Although the planet might be destroyed by God, that's something separate. Right. It got me blocked for a second here. I'm trying to find this one wrench. I had it recently. And, Home Depot has that nice option where you can just take it to the store. So again, Home Depot is going to make good. But again, this is the part. They're playing all of you. Right. They even damaged my Amazon merchandise. I know they did purposefully. Right. And then that kind of slowed down, and then they started messing around with the delivery on sensitive items. Right. Like if you look at Amazon, you'll find things like food items and lotions and stuff like that are probably not as popular as other items because people don't trust it. I trust it to a certain degree, but if it's not, when you order it, they play with it, and you put a certain trigger number on there, and then you have to order it, and it's not going to come for a few days. You kind of hesitant, right? So they're screwing your business, whoever they are. Maybe you don't care. Maybe you're so rich that you don't care, and that's why hell exists. Right. Trying to find that wrench. I can't find it, but I got to get it done because it's going to rain, snow soon. Of course, it won't be terrible right at first. Key is to stay at it. Now I'm being played here in Bucktown. Not really, it's not to the point where I'm saying it's here, there, everywhere, but again, I know Home Depot's got something going on. I felt it for a while. I won't say nothing until it effectuates, but then when I see the F effectuate, I'm like, okay. Because then you're devils. Because I'm an angel. I'm an angel, so you can't do it against me unless you're a devil. That's a fact of life. So the whole point of this is that the everyday person has no way. That's why they're addicts and all those type of things. And in fact, they compromise, so many of our operations and agencies. They got to pay for that. Some of them are. They're being deported and arrested. Well, there's the face people, and I know Cash is investigating that. I mean, they're the face people, but Cash is investigating who's behind the face people. Right. I don't care. I don't know. I don't think, I'm sure Soros money's part of it, but I don't know if Soros is actually saying, let's be crooks. Again, you have to understand, like Bill Clinton and Hillary. They didn't kill Vince Foster. Right? And she didn't have anything to do with it. It's a deep state. I lived in the area. I operated on the Star Detail. I lived up north of there, but I know what's going on. Right. That's where the deep state, that's where the seat of deep state was, where it started. And again, it all comes down to, criminal enterprise. Well, all that stuff about the Bushes and Clinton being this or that, I don't know how much drugs they moved, if they moved any drugs. But again, that's also a technique that they use. Again, the idea now is pedophilia, right? Everybody's a pedophile. Before you were a Mina cocaine smuggler. Right? You got to remember, these people are lifeline fraudsters. There's people in the government, lifetime fraudsters. They knew they'd never get me to be a fraudster, so they want to get rid of me. And I left on my own because I'm a responsible person. I'm not going to be out there trying to be a cop when my coworkers are corrupting and I can't possibly protect the public and possibly myself in service. Now, they're jokers and clowns. I said it while I was there. I'm like, what the hell is this? Right. Now, even SOG, I was on a detail. Some SOG dude they obviously called him up. It's like, do you think I don't know what's going on? I mean, I didn't know Deep State existed, but what's criminal conspiracy? To stalk me while I'm on detail, right? This guy was like Sagar. And I was like, oh, what a piece of shit. Remember, I'm a sapper leader. I was in the army. I've been in combat. And some Sagar's going to try to punk me out. Fuck that bitch. Right. You bitch for the deep state. But I got $1 million. Right. That's flat as hell. Yeah, so somewhere they're defrauding the upper management. But then when I started speaking on it, something came up where the upper management is being extorted. So they themselves don't know what to do. An individual investigator, right? With these people. Because if the FBI is not going to participate, there's nothing they can do, right? And they risk being outed for whatever it is they did. And again, it's like with Trump. I don't know what Trump did or didn't do, but he was around Epstein for a specific purpose. It used to just be millionaires and billionaires. That's where most people were part of it, because they were just playing millionaires and billionaires, and they still have a great life once they kick with the money, Right. But then when they found out people like me were getting hit, they're like, wait a minute. Right. There's no doubt that's what Carnaby was. So there's people like Carnaby, the guy that got killed by Houston PD, and his piece of shit wife tried suing. F her. Right. He gets a cop killer. That's why he was so paranoid. Right. Goes around setting cops up, tries to get him into some sexual thing, and then tries to blackmails them, extorts them. Or he's part of it. Again, there's different cells that do different parts of it. Right. Thank you, Larry. So he's like with the chief of police or whatever. See, that's the ends they made. Right. So you as a cop, you have no government authority when one of them pieces of shit come up. And they ain't like super national security dudes. They're corrupt. They're part of criminal enterprise. Yeah, that's the bridge to the government. They have a PI license or something like that. And they'll spend, a ton of time stalking an officer, like they were getting ready to do to Rose McGowan. Somebody says they did some of the stuff to Rose McGowan already. It wasn't all pre-workup. That was part of the workup, though, was to go interview her and do a psychological analysis. Oh, for years they said none of those people exist, right? Right. I started speaking about it. They say, "Oh, he's just crazy. It doesn't exist." There they are, Weinstein's people. Yeah. I was pretty shocked to see it go Mossad. I thought possibly when I was helping Ehud Olmert that Mossad may have been corrupting on me, but I wasn't sure. In Florida. No, like I said, Home Depot is generally nice about things. They're not jerks, but again, I don't want to have to be fucked around where I have to return stuff so some security dude can get his freak on with some dirty cop somewhere. Right. Now, I got a bunch of stuff I got to return here that I'm probably not going to get till after the storm. I got to return something at Lowe's and then something at home. A couple I guess was it 6? 1, 2, 3. I think it's 6 2x3s. Because when you go in, they start cursing you. Now the government does that anyway, but dirty government. Well, I don't know if Pittsburgh FBI. I haven't been able to clear them yet, so I don't know. It could be dirty. Look at me. They're like Mrs. Good. They'll hire Mrs. Good to come after me. Right. And her wife. That's why they're protected. I told you this already. When you're in government, you have no authority when the civilian deep state people want to take you out. Right. That includes dirty cops. See, again, I said something. There it is. I don't wham into existence. People that know metaphysics say I've said enough, and they know it's honest, that I can't move my will like that. Right? Because they know how they build their will up by saying the reverse of what I say. Right. But again, Hashem is all the will you need. Great. But yeah, I have a shitty. This is like a hellish planet. That's all it is. It's not like some nice place. And of course, you have a better life than me. But you have to pay that back in hell. Even to the planet. The planet's a trap. You never earned anything, any of you. You stole it. You did. Right. Unreverse. See, they're reversing it right there. I had to unreverse it. Because they'll get the credit for saying this. And then I'll get punished for being them. It's all over the planet. That's how they do it. It's that simple. They get your credit, and then you get their debit. Why? Because they have money. This is how they developed it. That's why they keep giving Elon money and the other people money, so their wills are played out. Now, again, that might just be political or something like that. I don't know. Right. Oh my God. So Elon's like a boss of a bunch of people, and the more money he has, the more power his thing has. And he's a boss of what are they called? The Tesla Club or something. Whatever that is. I forget what they're called. Like Doge and Tesla. Right. He's the boss there. So when they do something for him, they get, because they're still in the real system. No, he doesn't have to give it to them. Generally, they're probably still wired into not the real system, but the fake system. But it really pays something. Right. Nobody has what they're supposed to have because the planet's behind schedule. So this is the way it worked. Like the stuff we saw like in the 60s was what the seers saw, but then it started moving backwards. So by the turn of the century, by the new millennium, we were supposed to already have some stuff that Elon's still dreaming of, which means we don't have medical advances. We don't have psychological advances. Again, I was working all that and they killed me. So like I said, they don't even do their own selves a favor. Let's take these out. Now I could have returned it for the work piece, but I'm like thinking this is a good company. They're doing me well, It'd be nice if they sent me one, but I figured that was bullshit. And that's where my I was wondering if who it was it Home Depot and all that, who was part of that little bullshit in the head, because they want. Okay, so the way the system works, if I believe I'm going to get a full replacement and I don't, they go up and I go down. The world sucks. It's a piece of shit. Right. So the fraudster actually goes up and I go down. Like you watch fraudsters, they live a great life. They go a couple of years, they still have a great life. Right. They don't get punished on this planet for being a fraudster. Come out of prison, it was better than they did when they went in. Right. Yeah, so you go to Home Depot, the dirty security dude and a couple dirty employees are watching you for the narcos and the sex traffickers. But on the side, they also, try to make some money off of, stealing shit and fraud and all that. So what they'll do is they'll make that's the fraudster over there. That guy's trying to rip us off. When in reality, it's their guy that's coming in. Possibly, who knows? The guy when I was exited could have been part of the thing. Right. I was wondering if he was a military veteran. I saw him. But I did believe he tried to hide his face. But, he's like an addict, so probably it probably doesn't work too well in the mind. Oh, you won't recognize me. I took my hand and go like this. You won't know what I look like if I touch my face with my hand. No, like I said, I just deal with it. I realize I'm being cursed, and I just let it happen. But I can't. To know who it is, I'd have to interact with your employees, and I really don't feel like that. That's beneath me. But see, saying stuff like that will fuck you, and fuck whoever's doing it. So again, I tell you, caution you, just stay away, and actually pay me what you owe. This is almost a credit for Home Depot, but now it can't be. So whoever it is, ruin their own credit. No, it isn't like a regular. It's like the King of. It's bigger actually, but it's like the King of England buying furniture from you, even though it's cheap furniture. Whatever it's called. Some Scottish people say he's still just only the King of England. And of course, all right, let me figure out what I'm going to do here. I don't have that much as far as styrofoam of all the styrofoam, but that's okay. I'm going to drop it off at the store. I didn't actually. The fact is, I didn't even have to take it apart. That's how good Home Depot. Oh wait, I'm walking out of the room. That's how good Home Depot is in returns. I didn't even have to take it apart. If I wanted to, I could have just put it in my vehicle and they would accept it. So again, I'm not dinging the return system. But if you're trying to scam me and try to say I'm returning too much, then that if it is, that it is, right. No, look, the people that are doing it are devils. I'm not kidding. I'm not over exaggerating. So they know how to be devils. That's all it is. But the criminals at that. Thanks, Larry. So I got a couple pieces in here I want to pull out. Okay. Keep projecting your cursor. Well, I know you're there and you're being hit back. Okay. That's a sign there. I fell on the ground there. But whatever they willed and cursed, I'm in the opposite of it. They go, "You must be committing a crime, man." No, I'm actually getting styrofoam to put into the box. I felt so comfortable with the company, I didn't think there was any way I was going to return it, so I started throwing the styrofoam away. But it may have been a fraud, because that's the way they work. And these weren't Chinese people; they actually sounded Southwest, but I don't know. It sounded Hispanic, or at least New Mexico, something like that. So again, there are Hispanic people in New Mexico that aren't immigrants. So again, they had the accent, but they didn't have the full. They don't have the full Spanish accent. They have a kind of a Southwest accent, I guess. Well, like the DWI scan. I mean, that's along the lines of what I say was going on when I was in New Mexico. And they try to play it down like, oh, it's just thievery. Or they're working for the narcos. They're working for the sex traffickers. Believe you me. Right. That's the only reason they would do it, because they usually don't get prosecuted. That's the danger of the deep state. It just keeps getting more corrupt. Right. Yeah, I believe Schumer and Schiff and all those people are blackmailed. And I know Trump's blackmailed to extort it to a certain degree. I don't know if he did anything, but he's definitely, worried about his past. So they try to get him to alter some of his decisions. Right. But it doesn't mean that he committed the crimes. I'm sure he committed something. Everybody does that's got that much money. It's just the way they make money. It's the way they make government power. I mean, it's all there. It's not like, oh my God, Trump actually did something wrong once in his life, twice in his life, 50 times in his life. You all do. And you try to convince the public that the other person's more corrupt than the other person. And I say other person, it's really intelligent to say it that way because it just keeps going. The people that convince you they weren't as corrupt as the other people are actually more corrupt than the other people. Right. That's how they convince you, because they're corrupt and fraudsters. All right, I'm going to try to figure out, because I don't damage anything here, what to do. But I have to get this done pretty quick here. I have to get this into the vehicle and over to depot. Right. Nah, it's just the way it all unfolded. I knew it was part of a curse. Right. I had to pull the return trigger today. It just wasn't going to work. I was holding it off. Well, maybe something will come of this. I'm just trying to protect some of it. I doubt they're going to resell it. But I guess it could give them parts if they ever. I don't know if their parts think it's real or not. I mean, they haven't contacted me. Ugh. Thank you, Larry. I mean, the guy, it doesn't cost him anything to talk to you. So he talks to me about what might be wrong with it. But as soon as it needed a part, it seems like they dropped off. And again, once you speak out, possibly, the cop says, hey, okay, return it now. Because then they'll go, oh, see, it was going to return. You were jumping to conclusions. Or not returning, give them the part. Right. That's how the deep state works. Oh, they couldn't possibly know what you were saying to us. Right. Oh, the whole world's a scam. That's why they got money and you don't. Right? They defraud everyone. They don't get enough power, they blackmail and extort everybody. But like the Democrats are complaining about shit they do to everybody else too. So again, who gives a shit, you know? Right. At this point, you really don't care about Americans starving because you realize that if you did not play that game with the immigrants, that the American person in poverty could have twice as much money in food payment. Again, what's the cost of corrections? The cost to run them down? That's not on Trump. If you think you're going to say, "Oh, we've spent all this money running them down," you're the ones that put them here. Say we need to be run down.
Right.
Oops, lost that argument. 1% true. Yeah, it's better not to have responded to me than to have responded to me and then drop off because then that looks scammy. Right. Right. Because the initial reaction is, I'm going to return this thing. Oh, they're getting back to me. This is going to be, they're going to make good. They're good people. Right. No, the good cops will go and visit every single place you visit and set it up. Right. And the people that they set it up with, no, yeah, you do it. Scratch back. Right. Oh, it's no wonder that Trump was shot here. Right. That's deep state. Man. Doesn't matter if they like Trump or not. Right. Actually, I probably want to put that on top. Put that on the bottom. Brian, the FBI being corrupt here. Yeah, they're the next to resign in protest of the ICE operations. What piece of this shit? Just a year ago, the woman that resigned was the best of the best. Right. Well, I'm telling you, they're a piece of this shit. Playing their game out. Self-aggrandizement, self-enrichment. Fraud after fraud. Con after con. Really. Yeah, people have that set up. Oh, this is horrible! Can't believe you do this in Pittsburgh! I resigned! These are hard-working American heroes, these protesters! They do go, okay, look, we have one veteran here. Yeah, but there's another 10 million veterans that aren't protesting. Bradley Manning was in the military. Again, I apologize for not knowing his name. I don't remember. I actually came into it when he was Bradley Manning. Right. So it's in my brain. I didn't have much to do with him when he was whatever the other Christina or whatever his other name is. Well, mine took the standpoint that Bradley Manning was manipulated. That he's more of a victim than he is Well, because of again, spies won't admit to it or go in that direction or allow you to go in that direction because they're doing it to innocent Americans. They're manipulating innocent Americans into some bullshit that has nothing to do with government service.
Right.
It's that side job. That side job.
Correct.
So they don't allow, you go, well, Manny was manipulated because they're getting people to kill people for some drug laws. Right. So they don't want to be saddled with the idea that they're the ones like the drugs. You sell the drugs, somebody dies from the drug, it's your fault. You psychologically operate somebody that committed an act of murder, you knew what the possibilities were. Right. And probabilities. And actually, you want it because you get paid more if there's a suicide or death, like a murder. Right. The proverbial Weinstein bonus. Read about the Weinstein bonus. In the Harvey Weinstein case. They're all out there to get the Harvey Weinstein bonus. Correct. These sick people, man. When I got in the civilian government, I'm like, these people are clowns, man. They can't take anything serious. And of course, later I figured out the part that they're being paid to do it. Well, why are we being paid to do it? Scary, 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 scary. Because you're a piece of shit devil and you'll burn in hell. All right, this is good. Get the other pieces in there. Yeah, I can't believe this happened. Thought I was going to go so smooth. And again, they may have interfered to talk to him and say, "Hey, screw this guy. Do what we say. We'll give you $100,000." Yeah, I'm just a poor person buying a $250 headboard. They're the government with endless funds, credit cards, just wine and dine women that get interested in me. I never thought I'd be cock-blocked by the government. But again, it's not cock-blocked because I'm not looking for sex, but I was looking for a marriage. I'll pay for it in hell, man. Again, God ordered, it is not good for man to be alone. Therefore, we will make woman. Now, if you're gay, that's what you're doing. But I'll tell you, they made you gay. God didn't make you gay. But God doesn't care because God didn't make these bodies either. Our bodies are the spiritual bodies. That's what God made. They imprisoned you in a physical body so they could torture you. And so they could say, worship us. We're Elon. Elon, our favorite person to hate. No, he doesn't get obnoxious, but he gets ignorant every so often. You're like, what? Every so often. I get dry humor. That's why at first I thought he was British, right? Because his humor is really dry, right? Or at times dry, not all the time. Interesting. And then I found he was South African. And he stole money from black people. Well, I just want you to know that you're all in this thing and you have to fix what's broke and what you all broke. You really do. Well, I don't know what your futures are, but that guy who got stabbed by the other guy, he was one of your buddies, right? Both of them were your buddies, right? That's what they're talking about, the spirits. Well, this is again, it's one of those things that I can't fix, right? Because they came in with a judgment. So they brought up, I don't remember his name, but the one guy was with the other guy. There was a woman involved. They were on drugs, and one guy stabbed the other guy. They're both techies. Right. Well, it's mind possession. Generally, you have enough money not to have a mind possession at that level. So when it happens, it's an overthrowing of the system that you all put in place here. Like if you have money, you have a better life. It's actually false and a fraud. But nowadays, they won't let you have like a poor, quiet life. Well, because you have to be rich and because you're worth it, and just a bunch of bullshit they utter in the mind, and then it screws up everybody's life.
Right.
Or in their drinking some brews or some wine or whatever, they talk shit about poor people.
Right.
Well, again, the bottom line is you're going to pay in hell. So if it's broke, fix it. You're not going to get out of it. So again, I said this yesterday. They got to me. So they get this thing where they say Jesus. If you say Jesus like 10 times a week, then you're like going to go to heaven. And Jesus didn't say that.
Right.
They try this crap like, my God's bigger than your God. Well, not really. Your God's Satan minus Hashem. No, it's not even like, even if it was Yeshua, it's not Yeshua. Oh crap! What was that? It's Satan. Oh, that thing fell. The cabinet. Yeah, that's okay. It's not a cabinet, it's a box. The box I was pulling the styrofoam over just kind of laid down on its side. But they worship Satan. They call it Jesus. Not to say Jesus is Satan. That's really what's happening. And it isn't only Christians. There's Jews, there's others. So what happens is somewhere along the way, Satan. So let's say when Yeshua was here, that's what was going on in the Jewish world. The Sanhedrin was worshiping Satan in Rome, and all of Rome was there and everything. Right. And then of course we have if you were to explain it, and the problem is Christians aren't with Yeshua. So that's why the Jews spit on you. They don't know what they're seeing, okay? But that's their reaction. It's in their mind. See, they're not people that can't hear. Now, some of it's learned behavior and corruption, but because you're with Satan. Again, some of the nicest church people in their mind are causing homeless people because of what Satan causes them to think. So they're actually thinking you deserve to be homeless because you're not in my church, that kind of thing. That's a blatant, but there's even more subtle things. You deserve to be poor because you're not holy like we are. Holy, set aside, sanctified and set aside is what they believe. Again, none of that is holy to say anymore because you've corrupted it, all of you. The deep state in the 90s was already taking over the churches because I experienced it. I didn't know what the hell it was. Again, they try to tell you they're investigating you, but it's a scam. Thanks, Larry. Thank you, Larry. So the whole Koresh thing, so Texas, like even Texas is corrupt. Even the people that yell, David Koresh was clean and Vance Devine, the deep state created that. Now the ATF wasn't part of this. That helped me understand when I understood what happened there. And Janet Reno wasn't part of it, but she was like Clinton's. She killed Vince Foster. They all killed Vince Foster. Right. But there were people in government that were the deep state. Like, okay, so when you read the book about Ames, when the FBI came in, that's a good time period there, right? So the CIA didn't like FBI. Well, why would they like FBI? And the person that wrote the book may have known he was passing that information.
Right.
So as an investigator, right. So some dirty, okay, so the current spy is doing shit for former spies. So again, that's the chain of command there. Wasn't like Clinton, Janet Reno. Well, they for sale to the highest bidder. That's simple.
Thank you, brother.
No, I knew Janet Reno was clean. I wouldn't have the capability to work for them like I did if she wasn't. Right. I mean, clean as it gets in government. So when I say clean, well, there's a reality, and people don't like to talk about the reality. Right. Oh, Schumer's dirty as hell. Everybody knows that. You wouldn't be speaker or whatever it is he was. What was he speaker? Not speaker of the House. He was. You wouldn't have been the leader at all. Any of that stuff. Right. Wouldn't even probably be a senator. Oop, oop, oop. So. No, they killed me. That's the point. The only reason I'm here is because of God. So the biggest thing, one of the biggest messages from God, and he wants everybody to know, the life that God had for you will always happen. That's why I don't know if you're gay in the afterlife. That's a big question that gay people always ask inside, right? And trans and all that. So I'm like, but there's a possibility on some cases where you're the wrong gender. Whereas there is no gender at the soul level, but there's a gender at the spirit level. So you may have lived lives as a woman or a man, and then we're born on this planet in the wrong body, and that's a scam. Again, gender, the whole gender thing is a moneymaker, whether you're against it or for it, if you're like a corrupt person. Right? Again, you can make money off of it, not more than any other surgeon kind of makes, Right? But then if you're corruptly moving people in that way, again, you could be a surgeon and will have patients, which means you're making people sick or making people need transgender, which would, from Hashem's standpoint, if people successfully become transgender versus have some other illness so that the medical devils can be paid, then it's probably not a bad idea to use that to offset that. Like, God does not own this planet. Right. Satan does. And again, the scriptures will tell you the God of this world, and the God of this world is small g, not big G. So, Satan. In the New Testament. See, that's why you missed all that. See, the Jews missed all that. That's what they did. That was the goal, to rip that away from. Because if he was like some sect of Judaism, even though you don't agree with it, right? You'd still read it, and some people still do, but they don't know what it says because it's been changed. So it says, the God of this world blinds their minds lest they see the glorious gospel of Jesus Christ, which is probably the whole planet, because I'm probably the only one that knows what it actually is. But the idea is you can take that and you can dissect it. You can say the God of this world, small g, God of this world, then is Satan. I mean, it's not going to be anybody else. But what is Satan? Again, there's a question with that one. But it's not God, that's for sure. Right? Blinds their mind. So then mind blinding is going on. So we do not wrestle against flesh and blood. What do we wrestle against? Mind blinding. Well, the Catholics call that possession.